By the time Shippuden starts, we're not just dealing with two edgy teenagers anymore. We're dealing with a world built on cycles of revenge, entire clans, entire nations, all living under what the series literally calls the curse of hatred. And in the middle of it, you have one kid who decided, I'm going to carry this. I'm not letting my brother go. And that's where the story moves out of the territory of Cain and Abel, and it is something much more closer to the story of Joseph, the Prodigal Son, and even Christ himself. I'm Shua, and this is Pop Culture, the show where faith and fandom collide, and today we're talking about the Theology of Naruto, Part 2. Let's talk about the nine-tailed fox. From day one, Naruto carries the village's hatred in his body. He's literally a host for everyone's fear and anger. He's treated like a monster because of the very thing that's keeping them all safe. If you're Catholic, it's impossible not to see a faint echo of what Christ does on the cross for each one of us. 2 Corinthians 5:21 says, "He became sin for us." Not because he was guilty, not because he was damned, but because he carried what we couldn't face. Now, Naruto is not Jesus. He's a knuckle-headed ninja. He messes up constantly. But his story is built around the same pattern. Hostility aimed at him, a burden, a cross, if you will, and a decision to turn that burden into a source of mercy. When he meets Gaara of the Sand, when he fights Pain, Naruto repeatedly does something strange and shown in anime terms. He doesn't just defeat his enemies in a battle. Instead, he steps into their loneliness. If things had gone differently, I could have been you. That line is so close to Christian empathy, it's kind of scary. It's the opposite of self-righteousness. He doesn't stand above them, he gets underneath them, like someone taking the weight of another person's cross. This is Christ eating with the sinners, the whores, the tax collectors,
and the broken.
In sacred scripture, you start to see a shift from Cain's pattern. Joseph is sold by his brothers, left for dead, and somehow ends up in a position of power over them. That's a perfect revenge setup. But instead, he says, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. He doesn't excuse the sin, but he refuses to let hatred be the last word. The father in the Prodigal Son parable does something very similar. Of course, I'm talking about Luke 15. He runs out to the son who betrayed him, squandered his love, and embraces him. He even throws the guy a feast. Naruto is in that same spiritual lane. He has every excuse in the world to give up on Sasuke. Sasuke, after all, joined Orochimaru. He tried to kill him, more than once I might add, and he even became a terrorist by any modern standard of the word. Everyone from Jiraiya to the 5 Kage basically tell Naruto, let him go. You're being foolish. This is not your problem anymore. And Naruto's response is deeply, stubbornly Catholic. Then I'll carry his hatred too. If he wants to destroy the world, he'll have to go through me. He isn't saying Sasuke's actions are fine. He's saying, I refuse to answer evil with abandonment. That's kenosis, self-emptying love, as we see in Philippians 2. A love willing to suffer with and for the other, even when it makes zero sense from the outside. The world of Naruto has a very simple gospel. Hurt people, betrayed people, betrayed people. If you want peace, you crush your enemies. Madara believes that, Obito believes that, even some of the good guys believe that. The church would call that the world's wisdom, the logic of sin, which always ends in somebody alone, somebody dead, and the cycle just resetting itself with new names and new faces. Naruto slowly, painfully, learns a different logic. When he meets Nagato, Pain, he finally has a legitimate reason to snap. This is the man who killed Master Jiraiya, Hinata, and even Kakashi for a second, and leveled Konoha to the ground. Pain killed countless people Naruto loved. But instead of killing him, Naruto listens. He takes on Nagato's story. He hears the trauma, the warped idealism, the despair, and the show very clearly frames that conversation as a kind of confession. Nagato pours out his twisted gospel of pain, and Naruto receives it and refuses to mirror it. He walks away determined to break the curse of hatred, starting with himself. By the time we get to the 5 Kage Summit arc, Sasuke is basically everyone's problem. Public enemy numero uno. He's attacking other villages, he's trying to kill the Kage, he's deep in the darkness. The world's answer is simple. Kill him. Cut off the infection. And Naruto has a panic attack just hearing that. Not because he's naive, but because he knows exactly what that loneliness feels like. To be written off as a problem and not a person. So he goes to meet Sasuke again. And this time his language changes. Instead of, come home, I'll drag you back, he says, I'll carry this with you. Throw all your hatred on me. That is so close to the Catholic idea of intercession, it might as well have a halo on it. In Catholic theology, the saints don't just pray for other people, they offer themselves for them. Time, suffering, inconvenience, for your sake, not theirs. Naruto is offering to become the lightning rod for Sasuke's darkness. Not to excuse his horrible actions, but to keep him from being alone in them. That's what Christ does on the cross in the fullest way imaginable. He steps into our God-forsakenness so that even there, we're not alone. Naruto is a flawed, clumsy, shonen echo of that same idea. So where does all this leave us? Sasuke is still in the dark. The 4th Great Ninja War is coming, and the curse of hatred is now literally written into history. But something has shifted. There is now one person in this world who has consciously decided, your sin will not make me abandon you. Your hatred will not scare me off. If you go down, I'm going down with you. That's insane. It's beautiful and very, very Catholic. Part 1 showed us the fracture of brotherhood, and Part 2 shows us the burden or the cross of brotherhood. What it costs to love someone who doesn't want to be loved. Part 3 is where we finally see what happens when that kind of love meets the full weight of another person's darkness, and yet doesn't break. I'm Shwa, and this is Pop Cultured. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Part 3 will be out in a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, I'll be uploading weekly videos talking about faith and fandom and where they intersect. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment. It really helps out the algorithm. And as always, until next time, peace be with you.